Hey everyone, in this video we'll cover Python lists. Let's get started. In our text editor, let's go ahead and open up a new file. And I'll go ahead and close these out, and that way we don't have them. And now the first thing we need to do is let's create a list. So we'll say our list, and then remember we denote these using square brackets, and then we pass in objects into these square brackets. So let's say A, and then we'll say B, and then we'll say C as well. I'll save our file, that way we get the highlights. So let's say list.py. And remember that a list can be a multi-type container. So we don't have to put in just string values. We can put in integers, float numbers, and any other data type that we want as well. We'll drop down and say print our list. Saving this and executing it. We'll say list.py. And we see that we returned a list in the terminal. So we know how to create a list, and we can do it just like this. But if you remember, a list is also a mutable object. And that just means that we're able to change it once we create the variable here. So if we wanted to change the rList variable, we could drop down and say rList, and then if we wanted to add something in, we could append it. So append parentheses, and then we can append whatever we want here. So let's say we wanted to append the letter D. If we were to print rList again, we'll see that we have a new list in our terminal, which we see that we do. We now have the string D and our list value. This is possible just because the list is mutable. If we tried to do this with a tuple, we wouldn't have the same result. If you remember as well, a list also keeps the order of the elements inside of it. No matter how many times we were to print our list, this will be the order of these elements. Since this data type keeps the ordering, that means that we're able to index values out of it. Indexing is just using the index position of an item inside of a data type to pull a specific element out of it. Let's try to only pull out the element A from our list. We could drop down and say print our list, and now anytime that we index values out of a data type, we'll use a square bracket. So we have our list, which is the variable here, and then we're using square brackets to pull out certain values within our variable. So if we're only trying to pull out A, Python starts in the 0 index position. And what that means is that A is in the 0 position. So A would be 0, B would be 1, C would be 2, and so forth. To pull out A, we use a 0. So we'll put a 0 here. And now when we execute, we should just be returned A, which we are. Like I said, a list keeps the order, so that's what makes this possible. It also makes it possible for us to insert elements at a certain position within our list. We'll drop down and say our list, and then we'll insert parentheses. And now we specify the index position of the place that we want to put the element. So let's put it at the very beginning. And now we'll put in the element. We'll put in first element as a string. Now, when we print our list, we should have a first element string at the very beginning of the list, which we do. We're also able to remove that element from the list if we want to. We can drop down and say our list.remove, and then specify the element that we want to remove. So let's specify first element, and now when we print our list, we shouldn't have that element in our list anymore, which we don't. We also could have done this using the pop method. If we wanted to remove a certain index position from our list, we could have used pop. We'll put parentheses, and then we'll specify the index position that we want to remove. So let's remove the last one, D, which is in the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th index position. We'll put in a 5 here, and now print our list again. When we execute, we see we no longer have the string of D in the last position of our list. Lastly, we can nest lists inside of each other. So let's say nested list is equal to another list, and then we'll pass in a second square bracket, which will be just another list inside of the first list. So this will be the first list. So let's say 1, 2, 3, and then the second list will be 3, 4, 5. All we're saying is that there's one big list with a smaller list inside of it. We'll print nested list to see what it looks like. We see that it looks exactly like how we typed it in the terminal as well. And that's it for this video. It's important that we remember that a list is a mutable object, and that we're also able to keep the order of elements inside of our list. I'll see you in the next video.